We turn now to Genesee County, where despite strong regional opposition, the Board of Directors for the Genesee Economic Development Center just approved plans for a new data center at the Stamp Industrial Park. It's codenamed Project Double Reed. Now, this approval happened within the past hour or so. The plan here is controversial because the site is part of an area with wetlands, grasslands, and forest, and that includes the Iroquois National Wildlife Refuge. At recent public meetings, folks lined up to speak out in protest of this project.
My neighborhood is threatened. The children are seventh generations. Their futures are being impacted. Everything that we believe in is tied to the land. The land is it. You know, there is no going backwards, because once the land is gone, where do we all sit? And it doesn't mean just for the residents of the Tonawanda Seneca Nation, but also our neighboring communities are also being impacted.
The Genesee County Economic Development Center says this project will create more than 100 jobs and generate more than $200 million in local revenue. J-Dale Shoemaker is a reporter with Investigative Post who has been following this very closely. It's great to see you as always. I want to ask you about the subsidies because we saw the jobs numbers there. First, though, walk me through what happened today, and does this mean basically the approvals are done, this is moving forward?
Yeah, today was the big approval. They approved the SECA resolution, that's the environmental permitting step, and they also approved the subsidy package. And these subsidies are substantial. We're talking $472 million in total. This is sales and mortgage tax breaks. That breaks down to about $3.9 million per job. Now that's and those could go even higher because they are in line for low-cost hydropower from the New York Power Authority, as well as probably state tax credits as well. So by the time this is all said and done, this could be the largest subsidy package at Stamp.
It seems like there are two ways in which people are protesting this. One, the subsidies that you mentioned. How do you subsidize to the tune of $4 million per job? The other thing is what I mentioned there. This is a wildlife refuge, part of this area, and the impact that this would have. What do you make of how the opposition operated here? Yeah,
so what's important to note here is that right next door to where this data center is going to get built is the Tonawanda Seneca Nation. This is kind of an old, traditional, very rural, very agrarian, indigenous nation. They've been there for hundreds and hundreds of years, and they have said, no, we don't want any of this industrial park next to our ancestral territory. There's been a lot of back and forth between them and the IDA that's subsidizing this data center, and they've never really come to a conclusion there. So some allies of the nation, as well as nation members themselves, they came out in opposition to this. That opposition was not enough to convince the IDA otherwise. And part of why that was not enough is because this data center, in a lot of ways, solves a big problem for the IDA. I'm going to take you back to 2023. In the end of 2023, Plug Power, the first major tenant of Stamp, they issued what's called a going concern to their shareholders. That meant that they were basically running out of cash. They have some big financial issues. That's a problem for Stamp because Plug Power, under their initial terms of the deal, had pledged to pay for the electric substation that's getting built there. Hundreds and hundreds of megawatts of power needed for that industrial park. Plug Power is going to foot the bill. Their financial concerns mean that they can't pay for that. With a lack of other tenants lining up to occupy at Stamp, the IDA then turns to data centers to say, we need tenants and we need to get this substation built. So part of this deal is that this company, Stream US Data Centers, they're going to pay about $50 million to finish building the substation at Stamp.
And, on the potential upside of this, the hope is that this will lead to other projects coming in there, but certainly it comes at a cost in a few different ways. InvestigativePost.org, you can read Dale's full reporting on this. Thanks so much for coming in. We appreciate it. Thanks.